All right, today we're going to talk about a platform called Clairva, and what it does is pretty interesting. It's designed to automate some of the most complex, brain-draining analytical work that any business has to tackle. But before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Why is it so ridiculously hard to create something like a detailed ESG audit or a regulatory compliance report? I mean, if you've ever been pulled into one of those projects, you know the pain. It's a lot. And that pain, well, it looks a lot like this. First off, these things are just immensely time consuming. We're talking weeks, maybe even months of work. Then you need to find these niche specialists who are expensive and hard to come by just to get started. And with so many people and spreadsheets involved, human error is basically a given. You're constantly fighting to keep things consistent from one report to the next, and right when you think you've nailed it, bam, the regulations change. It's a total reporting nightmare. So how do you fix a nightmare like that? Well, this is where Clairvo comes in. It's not positioned as just another tool. The idea here is to think of it as a coordinated AI team that's built from the ground up to handle exactly these kinds of challenges. It's about shifting from a solo manual effort to a collaborative automated one. The secret sauce behind Clairva is this concept of a multi-agent AI system. Now, that might sound complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It's not one giant AI trying to be a jack of all trades. Instead, it's a whole crew of specialized AIs, or agents, that work together. Seriously, just picture a human project team. You've got your manager, your strategist, your analysts, all working together on a single goal. That's the model here. And here's what that virtual team looks like. You've got a supervisor agent who's basically the project manager, making sure everything runs smoothly. Then there's the planner. That's your lead strategist, breaking down the big, hairy goal into a clear roadmap. And of course, you have the specialists, the reporting and analysis agent digging into the data, and the consulting agent turning that data into actual strategic advice. Each one has its own job, and they all work in concert. Okay, so you have this AI team ready to go. How do they actually start working when you ask them for something? Well, it all begins with crafting the perfect plan. This is how a simple request gets turned into a really detailed, behind-the-scenes strategy. So the whole thing kicks off the second you submit a request. The supervisor agent immediately takes the lead, kind of like a dispatcher. It checks its agent registry to see who's on the bench and what skills they have. Then it taps the planner on the shoulder, and that agent's job is to deconstruct your big ask into a series of smaller, logical steps. What comes out of this is a crystal clear execution plan that the entire team of agents can now follow. But, a great plan is pretty useless if your team doesn't have the right information. And that's where Clairva's intelligence core comes in. You can think of it as the two brains that power the whole operation and make the system truly smart. So let's break these two brains down. On one side, you have the RAG layer. Now, RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, but forget the jargon. Just think of it as the team's incredible, up-to-the-minute research library. It has access to all the external knowledge it needs, official ESG frameworks, new government regulations, industry benchmarks, you name it. Then on the other side, you have the memory layer. This is the team's collective memory. It holds all of your private internal info, your company's past reports, previous analyses, all that crucial context. It's this blend of outside expertise and inside knowledge that makes the whole thing so powerful.
Okay, so the team has a plan, and it has the knowledge. But here's a really critical part. The work isn't done after the first draft. This is where the system's obsession with quality really shines, through a constant iterative loop of refinement.
So after the specialist agents create an initial draft, the system does something amazing. It basically peer reviews itself. It has another agent that critiques the output, actively looking for analytical gaps, compliance problems, or just sections that could be clearer. Then it kicks it back for revisions, improving the work with every single pass. And this is key. For the most critical judgment calls, there's always a step where a human expert can jump in, review the work, and give that final thumbs up. So after all of this intricate planning, deep analysis, and relentless refinement, what do you actually get at the end of the day? Let's talk about the final deliverable. Well, the results isn't just some messy data dump. No way. It's structured, tangible business intelligence. We're talking about things like fully formed ESG audit reports, comprehensive gap analyses showing exactly where you need to improve, regulatory compliance scorecards, and even strategic plans to help you fix the problems it finds. And all of this can be delivered in whatever format you need, a polished document, a live dashboard, or even through an API to plug into your other systems. So if you boil it all down, this is the promise, right? It's about delivering high-quality, explainable business intelligence, but doing it on an automated timeline. It's getting that expert-level consulting result without the expert-level price tag and endless bottlenecks.
And that really leaves us with a pretty powerful question to chew on. What happens to your business, your strategy, your decision-making when every single critical analysis you need to run is backed on demand by its very own dedicated AI expert team? The possibilities there are